Welcome to Flow Motion with Marie. If you've been sitting around too long or hunched over your gadget, this 20-minute flow will help open up the chest and the rest of the front body. Take a comfortable seated position. In my case, I'm sitting on 2 blocks. If you don't have any blocks and are fine just sitting on your heels, then do so. You can also cross your legs, whatever is most comfortable for you. If you haven't already, close your eyes and let's use these few moments to just settle in. Slowly start to deepen the way we breathe. And turn your palms to face the ceiling. This is the first step in bringing a little more space to the shoulders, a little external rotation there. You can also think of your open palms as a physical expression of you being ready and open for the goodness and the benefits of this practice. Then we take a deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and let the air out and allow a to happen. Inhale through nose. Exhale through mouth. And the hands come to the heart. We set our intention, dedicating the next 20 or so minutes to create space in the body, in the breath, and in the mind. Let's open our eyes and begin with some shoulder rolls. We'll use these movements to take out any kinks or tightness that we tend to develop or hold when we hunch. Whether you keep your arms straight or bent is up to you, whatever you feel most comfortable with. The great thing about shoulder rolls is that you give space to your upper back in one part, to your neck in another part, to your chest in another part. So each segment of the shoulder roll gives you space. Finish that last roll and then take your fingertips to your feet. This movement alone brings space to the fronts of your shoulders as well as your chest. Look at the point in front of you where your front wall and the ceiling meet. Keep your breath full and steady. And know that you're creating space in your collarbone area, on all sides of your neck, in your spine, and in the spaces in between your spine. Inhale. Exhale, release. If you're seated on blocks, then take your blocks to the sides. Option as well, if you still want to use your blocks, then take your blocks underneath your hands. And we'll extend the right leg back and just shift backward and forward. No worries here. If you don't have blocks to support you, that's absolutely fine. You'll just keep your hands on the ground and you'll shift forward and back. In the backward action, you're pressing the ball of your right foot into the ground. In the forward action, you're unweighting the right foot. Let's lift the right foot off of the mat. Bend your right leg and bring your right foot toward the middle of your hands. Curl your left toes under to lift the left knee and shift your left foot further back. This brings your hips lower to the mat, and maybe it'll bring more sensation to your upper left thigh. We'll shift our weight right and left. You lean your weight to one hand, lean it to the other. You're essentially tilting your hips right and left. Breathe all throughout. Enjoy the swaying sensation. And then we come to center. Those of you who have blocks, bring your blocks to a higher level. Those of you who don't, just bring your hands to your front thigh. That way we're putting more weight on the right leg. As we hold this position, we're bringing more space and width to the front of the left thigh and the hip. Also, if you carefully draw your right knee forward past your toes, you might even feel a lengthening sensation on your right calf muscle. On the next inhale, let's reach the right arm up. Exhale, lower the right hand down toward the left hand and shift your hips back to extend your right leg. You'll lower into a crouch. Hands can come onto the ground if they were on the block. Lift your toes off the mat, and with little external rotations, turn the foot out, back to center, out, back to center. It's almost like you're digging your right heel into the mat. Let's hold it when the toes are turned out. The movement stops, but our breath is continuous here. Keep the breath full and slow and steady and without rushing. We rebend the right knee, place your right hand on the right ankle, and gently carry your right foot. The right knee points to the back of your mat. Pull your navel in so you feel more stability and less wobble, and bend the right leg even deeper, deep enough that your right hand may shift toward the upper part of your shin. Your left hand pushes into the mat. Make that connection of your left hand pressing into the ground. You know you're connected there. And then you'll turn your head away from the hand, whether it's to look at the wall in front of you, or perhaps to look at the ceiling. For most of us, looking down at our base makes us feel more stable, more grounded, and looking away challenges the balance a little more. How's your breath? Still full and steady? Let's release this. Lower your right hand. Bring your right knee back to the ground. Relower the hands on the mat or on blocks if you have them. Left leg will extend behind you. Ball of the foot on the ground, and you'll shift forward and back, just as we did on the first side. Lean forward and lean back. The forward action might create a lengthening sensation in the wrist, and the backward action a lengthening sensation in your left calf. Shift forward, shift back. Keep breathing here. Left foot will come forward toward your hands. Curl the right toes under, shift the knee back just a tad to lower your hips. Take your blocks up a notch if you like. For some of us, this might deepen the back bend in the upper back. Let's shift the weight to your right and left. Allow this swaying motion to soothe you, and allow this movement also to prepare you for the hold. And this is where we'll hold. Come to center. Breathe. Draw the belly in so that your spine stays long and you're not hunched over. Gently pull the shoulders back. I choose to bring my blocks one notch higher to deepen the back bend. As I said earlier, if you don't have blocks, you can take your hands onto your knee or the thigh. Gently push into the thigh so that you can lift the chest. Feel the space in the front of your thigh, of your right thigh, the front hip. Let's inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Reach the left arm up and set it down to your right side, toward your right hand. Shift your hips back, lift your left toes. And as we did on the first side, we'll do this external rotation. Toes come out, back to center, out to center. It's a small outward rotation of the leg, and then it comes back to center. Let's pause in the hold in the external rotation where your toes point outward. You'll hunch forward, allow space in the back of your body. And keep your face relaxed. Rebend your left leg, hold on to your left ankle. We gently carry the left foot and point your left knee to the back of your mat. Open up the chest. Bend your left leg even deeper if it allows. And maybe shift the left hand toward the middle of your shin. Make the connection so that the right hand pushes into your mat or block. And then you'll turn your head away from the hand. For more challenge, turn your gaze toward the ceiling. Remember the connection you've already established with right hand to the ground. Trust that connection. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's release this. Lower the left hand, lower the left knee, and we'll set the blocks aside. Let's take the hips to one side and swing your legs forward. Come to the center of your mat and very slowly roll down all the way to your back. We'll push feet into the floor, lift your hips and take 1 or 2 blocks underneath you. We're setting them right underneath the sacrum, which is the base of your spine and the upper part of your pelvis. If you do not have a block, use a small firm pillow or a rolled up towel or blanket. Your aim is to get your hips higher off the ground so that your hip flexor area, which is folded or bent when you're seated, becomes more spacious. So in effect, we're counteracting our daily seated positions with this extended position. Roll your shoulders underneath you so that the weight comes off of the base of your neck and onto your shoulders here. Feel the expansion in your chest. Inhale deeply. And exhale fully. Now you can stay in this position, or you might experiment with extending the legs. If you have lower back issues, note this is an option and not a requirement. One leg will straighten, followed by the other leg. And see, how does it feel for your lower back? If your lower back starts to complain, or if there's any pinching sensation, then just come back to the previous posture and we'll layer this on. Only if you like. Grab onto the edges of your mat to help lift your chest, arch the upper back more, and come onto the top of your head. You feel the expansion in the front of your neck and your throat area. This didn't work for me. It might work for some of you, which is why I came back to the previous posture. So really, there's a lot of trial and error in a yoga practice, in a physical yoga practice. If it works, stay with it. If it doesn't, then modify, shift around until you feel home, until you feel comfortable. Bring your hands to your ribs. Feel the expansion and contraction as you breathe in and out. I'm shifting my feet once more and bending the legs because my back is not feeling right in the position. So like I said earlier, shift around as much as you need to. It might take a while until you find your sweet spot. Another part of this physical practice of yoga is listening to the feedback of your body. Let's lift our hips off of the block or whatever prop you're using to raise your hips, and lower your hips back to your mat. Very mindfully start to bring one knee close to your chest, followed by the other. We're coming up to seated position. You'll either carefully rock up vertebra by vertebra up to seated position, or roll to one side and press yourself up. We'll take our bolster pillow or a rolled up thick towel or blanket and bring it to the base of the back. The soles of your feet touch, your knees roll out to the sides. Very gently roll back down. Spread out your arms, palms face up. Close your eyes and allow the fronts of your shoulders to passively find space. Breathe in. Breathe out. Can you notice how the lift that we've added on the torso allows gravity to do its work and gently ease the fronts of your shoulders down into relaxation? Check in with the muscles in your body, and if there's anything that feels tight or knotted, use your exhale to soften these areas. Full breath in. Full breath out. Bring your left leg over your right, and if it feels comfortable for your neck and spine, turn your head to the left. So this is one option for the legs. We'll take another option, which is your feet will be as wide as the sides of your mat, and you'll lower your knees to the right. And as we said earlier, if it feels comfortable for the neck and spine, turn your head to the left. Fidget around, move things around until you feel you're able to stay in this position. Sensations here are relative depending on how tight or flexible you are in your body, but we're hoping to bring space also to the lower left side of your body through this twist. Inhale. Exhale. Soften, soften, soften. And we'll switch sides. The knees come back to center. You have the option of laying your right leg over your left and turning your head toward the right, or bring your feet as wide as the mat and lower your knees to the left side. Eyes are closed. Allow gravity to work its way into this position and bring a sense of softness in the face, in your jaw, maybe even in your fingertips. Wherever it is you feel tension is holding, allow yourself to soften. And the exhales help in softening any tight spots. Observe which part of the body is releasing, where you feel more space being created. Full inhale. Complete exhale. We'll take our legs back to center. Soles of the feet may come together. Come to the right position for you. I'm bringing my knees together and my feet as wide as the mat. Take your hands onto the sides, to your ribs, to remind yourself of the expansion and contraction in your body as you inhale and exhale. We've concluded our 20-minute practice. Stay for as long as you need to and come out of this position when you're ready to face the rest of the day, when you're ready to complete your evening, depending of course on what time you've chosen to do this video with me. Thank you for joining me in Flow Motion, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.